Good afternoon. Since we last met here on this doorstep, a lot has happened, as you know. We were in Crans-Montana, and unfortunately the conference on Cyprus failed to lead to the desired outcome. Since then, I have been to New York to brief the Security Council and also have very deep discussions with the Secretary General about the way ahead, and speaking also to the, of course, the sites there and all interested parties represented in New York. And now I'm here partly to share some of my impressions with the leaders from the New York meetings, but more importantly to listen to them and to hear from Mr. Anastasiades and Mr. Akinci later today where they think we stand, where the process is, and frankly what they would like us to do. The United Nations remains committed to supporting a process on existing parameters. This is confirmed by the Secretary General, this was confirmed by the Security Council, and that's what we're here to do, but of course we need to know what the reading is from the sides. And we have a complicated situation, I think it's fair to say. Much was achieved in Crans-Montana, but we were not able to stitch it together to a final deal. That was a blow, I think, to everybody involved. And the question is what we can do now. And my problem right now is that I've spoken to one side, but I've not yet spoken to the other side. So there's probably more to say when I've seen both leaders. But I had a very open and very constructive conversation with Mr. Anastasiades right now, and I look forward to have a similar conversation with Mr. Akinci a little bit later, and after those maybe I have something more to say.
So let us try to clarify something, Mr. Eide, after your interview. Who's saying the truth? You said that Turkey never said that they want the guarantees to continue forever, but Mr. Çavuşoğlu said 11th of July that it's silly to believe that Turkey will accept a proposal that is without guarantees and intervention rights. Who's saying that?
Well, Turkey has been clear all the time that they cannot accept both zero guarantees and zero troops. That was their line throughout the conference. A lot of things happened during the conference. We were working towards an outcome on security that, I mean, the Secretary General and myself, that we think could have worked at the end of the day as the part of a final package. But that would then lead to the end of guarantees and intervention rights, but it would kept some troops at least for some time, and where we were not ready to agree was on the issue of the longevity of those troops. Many of these conversations were confidential, and hence it's difficult to say much more than I've already said, so I am simply not able to elaborate further on that. And my main focus now, in any case, is where do we go from here.
So the problem was the troops and not the intervention rights and guarantees?
The problem was that we were not able to arrive at a total package. If we were able to arrive at a total package, as the Secretary General and I had hoped, some of these issues would have been cleared, but there were some outstanding issues. And as I said, these discussions were deeply confidential. The parties had their official positions, which were proposed, and they also shared other ideas with us confidentially, and because they're confidential, we have to keep them confidential.
Sir, you said that we were near a breakthrough. If we were so near to a breakthrough, why did the Secretary General close the conference?
Well, the Secretary General's good offices, meaning his political disposition to help the sites, will never close. They will continue to be there. This particular conference, the conference on Cyprus, was closed, but of course in principle one can meet again if the sides agree, but it requires an agreement between all the involved sides and an agreement on which basis to negotiate. We had developed some ideas, basically 6 main questions, 2 of them on security and guarantees, 4 of them on the internal issues. It remains my conviction that if we had been able to solve all 6 of them in one go, we would at this time have had the strategic breakthrough. I am not giving up, the UN is not giving up, but at the same time I don't want to create any false illusions. I want to be honest about the fact that all of us recognize that the situation after Crans-Montana is difficult, and I simply don't want to make too many observations of my own before I've heard both leaders and heard what they have been saying.
Yeah, we appreciate that, but we want you give us an idea about the prospects of restarting something? There's being talk, there have been articles written that something is brewing maybe in the fall. I know, like you said, you haven't seen Mr. Akinci, but in your contacts since, do you get a sense that something could be starting up again sometime in the next few months? Before the end of the year?
There's nothing to say about that now. I mean, there is no concrete idea, concrete plan as of now that I am able neither to confirm. There isn't simply any concrete ideas in that effect. But, of course, nobody would be more happy than me and the United Nations in general if there was an opportunity to do what we were not able to do in Crans-Montana. But it's not, frankly, not up to us to decide. This is very much, we have been extremely loyal to the principle of a leader-led process, and it has to remain that. So, I mean, we facilitate, but they negotiate. And the question is much better answered when I've also had the opportunity to speak with the other side, because we need the shared desire from the two sides to move on.
Mr. Eide, do you feel that there may be a possibility regarding your position as special advisor for the Cyprus problem? The Archbishop doesn't want you. The Greek foreign minister says that you're not telling the truth. Many political leaders in Cyprus want you to leave. Do you feel now is the best time for you to depart as special advisor and maybe allow someone else to come in with fresh ideas? So it will also give you a possibility for someone to concentrate on, as it's been heard in the press, your interest in elections in Norway. Is that correct?
But there's been no secret and been known for many months that because there are elections in Norway, I will take part in them, and I have said that for those Norwegian reasons I will leave anyway. But I have been remaining in this post because the Secretary General wanted me here, and what I'm doing now is to try to see what is the best advice I can give him after Crans-Montana, after seeing the two leaders. I am the special advisor, I am his special advisor, and we want to know if there is a process and on what terms this process can take place. And I also have another responsibility, which is to prepare a thorough report on what has happened in this phase, and I will do that before I leave. But of course I will, as I've said a long time ago, I will go for the Norwegian elections when they come.
Thank you.
Thank you.